It seems like Kris Jenner's empire might be crumbling before our very eyes. The queen bee of reality TV is facing a mountain of problems, and this time, her bag of tricks might not be enough to save her. So, check this out. Rumor has it that Kris Jenner's tangled up in some serious scandal involving none other than Diddy and his shady dealings. Word on the street is that Kris allegedly pimped out her own daughter, Kim Kardashian, to Diddy's infamous circle of freak-offs. Yep, you heard that right. It's like something straight out of a Hollywood thriller. And if that bombshell wasn't enough, there's more bad news for Kris. Hulu, the streaming giant, just dropped a major bombshell of their own by canceling the Kardashians show. You can bet your bottom dollar that Kris is fuming about this one. It seems like Kris Jenner's troubles are piling up faster than ever. In a shocking turn of events, the IRS is reportedly slamming Kris over allegations of tax evasion through her California community church. This could have serious consequences for Kris and everyone associated with her. The IRS claims that Kris has been attempting to evade taxes, not just for herself, but also for her children, by hiding a substantial amount of money under the guise of the church. If these allegations hold true, it could mean trouble not only for Kris, but for her entire family as well. The potential repercussions are massive. The IRS has the power to seal Kris's bank accounts and properties, which could deal a devastating blow to her finances and reputation. And if criminal charges are brought against her, it could mean jail time for Kris and those involved. As the investigation unfolds, one thing's for certain: Kris Jenner's life is about to get a whole lot more complicated. Stay tuned, because this could be the beginning of the end for the Kardashian matriarch. Kris founded the California Community Church in 2009. It was previously known as the Life Change Church, and its lead pastor is Brad Johnson. He is a family friend of the Kardashians, and KUWTK viewers might remember him for officiating Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom's wedding. Some may see it as a shock that Kris founded her own church. However, the family has a long-standing association with religion and is regularly seen on their shows making prayers, and they also make posts about it on their social media too. The main issue a lot of people seem to have with Kris having her own church is that there has been some speculation over the years over the authenticity of her having a church. The main concern of this is if Kris decided to found her own church so that she could use it as a tax write-off. Within the church, there is a practice that is known as tithing, which is where it is customary to give 10% of one's earnings back to the church. This set a lot of tongues wagging regarding Kris because it's widely known that she takes 10% of all of her children's earnings, and many found this far too much of a coincidence to believe that there was nothing fishy behind her founding her own church. This may not seem like anything that anyone necessarily needs to be skeptical about at this point, particularly as many managers will often take somewhere around 10% of their clients' earnings. However, it was reported by Radar Online that the California Community Church was involved in a tax scandal after it failed to pay any taxes during its first few years. Kris Church not paying any taxes might confuse some as to why this was a tax scandal, as it's also widely known that churches are exempt from paying federal, state, and local taxes. However, they do have to pay taxes on their payroll expenses, which seems to be what Kris failed to do in this instance. Doesn't sound like something a business-savvy woman like Kris would do. There are some other issues regarding money and Kris's church that also come into play here. One of which is that there have been a few occasions where the Kardashians have been involved in some charity auctions on eBay and have given the money made from these sales to the California Community Church, which would get them out of having to pay any tax on that money. The other issue is the membership fee that the church charges. Many churches will vary what they charge for their churchgoers. Some will charge a mandatory fee. Some will ask that members pay 10% of their earnings but won't make this mandatory, and others will ask for a small contribution whenever someone attends their church. However, the California Community Church charges $1,000 per month in order to be able to attend their church, so it certainly seems like something that is more for the rich and wealthy. But overlooking that, it would also seem that this membership fee gives Kris even more money than what she currently makes, which many aren't happy about. If you think that's the only scamming scandal Kardashians are involved in, you are wrong. The whole situation appears to be quite suspicious, and it certainly comes across as shady as F. But it still doesn't end there, because a lot of things still don't add up about Kim's finances, and people are convinced that she has been inflating her income and network. Listen, these thieves' pockets have holes in them, and this is the kind of shadiness that is nothing new to the Kardashians, because we all remember how Kylie was exposed by Forbes for lying about how much her Kylie Cosmetics brand was worth, and she ended up losing her billionaire status. Well, Kim is still officially noted as a billionaire, but people think that she doesn't act like it. Last year, she was investigated by the SEC after she advertised the cryptocurrency Ethereum Max without adding a disclaimer to show that it was a sponsored ad and she had gotten paid to do so. By advertising without stating that it was an ad, she had taken part in a pump and dump scheme that was aimed at increasing the price of cryptocurrency before it was sold to investors, and she was fined $1.26 million. People have pointed out how weird it is that Kim would still be running ads on Instagram, even as a billionaire, because that is certainly not billionaire behavior. It's giving more Instagram influencer rather than billionaire businesswoman. And this is another reason people think that low-key she isn't as rich as she wants us to think, and according to Kanye, people are right about that. While Kim is definitely far from the opera girl, she has way less money than people think, and this is why Kanye was always careful to keep his money separate from hers, even when their marriage was still going well. He never wanted to get financially tied up with her because he knew that he would be losing a lot of money at the end of the day. A source spoke to People magazine and said they keep their accounts basically separate. See, back in the day, before Kim was famous, she worked as a closet assistant for singer Brandy, but Kim did her dirty because she stole from Brandy. As the closet assistant, Kim had access to Brandy's credit card for a one-time. However, after Kim stopped working for Brandy, she, along with Chloe and Rob, took advantage of the access and stole $120,000 from Brandy's mother. What this means is that Kim held onto the credit card details for years and waited until she believed enough time passed before carrying out the thievery. But to make matters worse, they tried to be sneaky and hide the paper trail by spending the stolen money at their stores, Dash and Smooch, instead of using it directly. To avoid suspicion, they used the stolen money to make it seem like legitimate income from their clothing stores, because they thought it would be harder to trade since Brandy buys a lot of clothes. However, they were caught red-handed. At first, Brandy's mother gave Kim the opportunity to return the money without involving the law because of her relationship with Brandy and Ray J. But when she didn't repay the money for over a year, she decided to take legal action against them. But then Brandy and Ray J convinced their mother to withdraw the lawsuit and resolve the matter outside of the courts. According to Ray J, this was the actual reason behind his breakup with Kim. But that wasn't the last time that Kim was involved in such money shenanigans, because she was also linked to a money laundering scheme. Before her rise to fame, she had a sugar daddy named Joe Low, an Asian man whom she has been accused of helping launder illegal money. Insiders claim that Kim frequently traveled with Joe Low to gambling houses in Kazuya, and in 2009, she even claimed to have flown back to LA with a trash bag full of $250,000 cash that he won from a casino in Las Vegas. But it turns out that this might have been part of a larger money laundering scheme, as Joe Low has been implicated in such activities. The insider wrote, "Low is wanted by international authorities in connection with a multi-billion-dollar money laundering scheme. He is accused of being the mastermind behind a scheme to siphon $4.5 billion from the Malaysian state-run Economic Development Fund, One Malaysia Development Berhad. She was investigated by the FBI, but they couldn't pay anything on her, and it looks like her financial problems might have gotten only worse since her divorce from Kanye, because she is in a heavy debt of $48 million, which is just insane to think about. A year ago, she took out a mortgage of $48 million on her $70 million mansion, and the crazy thing is that she can't ask her family for help because every single one of them is heavily in debt too. Her mom, Kris Jenner, has a very long list of debt, and according to The Sun, she first of all took out a loan for $7.25 million in August 2018. But the following month, she was superseded by a new agreement for a whopping $40 million loan with the financial company Crosswind Venture Fund. Then in January 2019, she borrowed $5.2 million and $5.25 million in June of that year, according to property reports. Listen, everybody's borrowing money. Kylie also borrows $7.5 million. And long story short, the Kardashians are $132 million in debt, which is crazy. But hey, they gotta pay for their designer clothes and private jets somehow, right? Plus, their financial worries are just the latest in a long streak of what people are calling their flop era, and they might want to level up their game very quick. And I mean quick. And if Kim thinks Kanye might bail her out out, well, she better think again, because sources report that Kanye is 100% focused on his new wife, Bianca, and has zero thoughts of regard towards Kim outside of their 4 kids. Why this is just crazy. And people have comments saying that whole family's wealth is built on shams and scams, not to talk about faking their documents to end up on rich lists and etc. More and more are seeing their lives. Not even a momager can do anything to save them from their well-deserved downfall. Prenuptial agreements save Kanye from a whole lot of grief. Smart men hope they go down hard, and they're broke. It's all smoke and mirrors. That's why she's trying to get North to work. Listen, the Kardashians and her family are some wild or crazy kids, but if you think that's crazy, just wait until you see the chaos in the next video.